He make him strip, you know. Take off his shirt, pants, take a look at his private parts.
The family of a teen boy who says an NOPD officer forced him to strip is speaking exclusively to WDSU tonight for the first time. That officer has been arrested and his case will take center stage at criminal court in just a matter of hours.
Yeah, it is a case that's bringing some questions about how officers are tracked and monitored. WDSU investigative reporter Ari Killian digs into what systems NOPD has to track suspicious patterns.
He was traumatized.
This man, who did not want his face shown, says his brother is the alleged victim of NOPD officer Tyler Seroy. He is speaking on his brother's behalf.
He make him strip, take off his shirt, pants, take a look at his private parts.
He had to look at your brother's private parts?
Yeah.
Court records we dug into show that allegedly happened after the 17-year-old boy was involved in a car accident in March. Records state Officer Seroy wrote the report. Days later, while leaving school, records show the victim began getting phone calls from a private number. Seroy is accused of being on the line saying, "I need to come see you and check you out."
Upset. I was angry. Yes. Yeah, because you're an adult. You're not going to do that to a child.
Court records show the officer showed up to the boy's home days after the wreck. Officer Seroy then allegedly instructed the teen to take his clothes off, then to go inside so he could check the rest of his body. The victim, according to the records, said no. Seroy is accused of again telling the victim to go inside in a, quote, elevated tone, so the boy complied out of fear. The victim stated the officer was wearing a body camera and said not to worry. The victim said, "I felt forced, uncomfortable, and didn't know what was going to happen if I didn't do what he said."
Everybody was in shock, everybody was concerned about it. The whole family.
Court records state days after the encounter, the victim and his family noticed the officer parked nearby. NOPD found through location data that Officer Seroy was in fact at and inside the victim's home at the date of the incident, and there were no requests for him to be there. Days later, the officer was arrested on simple battery, accusing him of pulling the waistband of the victim's shorts to peer inside. He was also booked on malfeasance in office, unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling, and false imprisonment with a weapon. We called the number listed for the officer in court records.
Hey there, good afternoon. Is this Tyler Seroy?
The person who answered hung up.
So when you first got this case, what was your reaction to what the allegations are?
It's not surprising.
Glenn McGovern is the attorney for the alleged victim.
He tells him to take off his shirt, and then he looks at through his boxers at his genitals. If they can track him some kind of way, they need to be doing that.
And it turns out, according to federal court records, Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick was asked about NOPD tracking suspicious patterns by police officers in January, months before this incident. WDSU Investigates uncovered this deposition. It centers around former NOPD officer Rodney Vickner. You didn't know that it was against the law to have sex with or sexual relations with a child?
No, I knew that.
In 2022, he pleaded guilty to violating a girl's civil rights, admitting that he locked her in his truck and touched her under her clothing. Court records state that Kirkpatrick also agreed that NOPD should be looking for suspicious patterns in its officer GPS data and directing its supervisors to look for patterns of suspicious officer behavior in trip sheets, and that it would be a problem if NOPD had no such systems. The attorney filing the suit claims it does not. We requested an interview with NOPD. They declined. They tell us as of January, they've added a training for supervisors to identify patterns and practices that could indicate problematic behavior. They say in addition to supervisors' review of officer body cameras, daily activity sheets, and monitoring officers' activity during a shift, the NOPD utilizes an early warning system that draws data from several different places to determine if an officer is an outlier among their peers. Supervisors are obligated to address any suspicious patterns that are identified. We also asked if NOPD has GPS systems in place to flag suspicious patterns. NOPD says vehicles are equipped with GPS systems, from which data is reviewed by supervisors. If a suspicious pattern is found, it would be reported. NOPD also requires reporting when an officer is responding outside of their assigned sector. which could be a sign of suspicious behavior. I also asked why the system did not immediately flag the March incident involving Ciro. NOPD says there's an ongoing internal investigation. They are unable to provide further information.
I hope NOPD wakes up to the fact that it needs to have close scrutiny over its officers to make sure that they don't take advantage of children in our community.
Attorney William Most is representing Vicknair's victim.
Officers drive around in cars with GPS locators, and a suspicious pattern like Vicknair's, where he returned to the scene, to the home of a rape victim over and over and over and over again, that's extremely suspicious. Chief Kirkpatrick agreed we need a system to monitor that.
And the family of Officer Ciro's alleged victim wants to know what is being done to bring change.
To fix the system, you're supposed to feel safe around police.
Aubrey Killian, WDSU Investigates.
And we also asked NOPD if Officer Sirois is being paid. They say that he remains reassigned pending the outcome of an internal investigation. They add that he has been placed under close supervision and his policing powers have been suspended.
And also, we did reach out to the attorney for Sirois multiple times, but we have not heard back.